Hello everybody, DarkPhoenix Ninja 92 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Kaiserreich, Legacy of the Weltkrieg as the Russian Empire. Now, last time we left off, I had just finished my mission that I'm now calling Operation Conquer the Balkans, as well as Operation Conquer Turkey and Kurdistan, and give Turkey Kurdistan. My operation names need some work, I know. As well as Operation Conquer Afghanistan. So we have a number of puppets in the region. And I was contemplating whether or not to declare war on Persia, but after some messing around and looking at alliances and such, I've determined that Persia is still in the middle of an alliance with Egypt, Hashemite Arabia, and Libya. So if we go to war with any of them, then we will have to go to war with basically all of the Middle East, pretty much. And that is not something I really feel like I want to do, since it would take a very long freaking time. And I have no interest in bogging myself down in that kind of war. So, well, I've spent the past couple of in-game years building up my military, to the point where I felt like we were somewhere close to ready for a war with Germany and her allies. As you'll see up here, we have a total of about 380 industrial capacity. We exceed Germany by a country mile. Of course, if you add in Germany's allies, then it becomes slightly less even. But we're not. But Germany's allies are generally not very good. I was keeping an eye as well as I could during the last war, and it didn't seem like the one between Germany and France, which is technically still going on, I mean, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire and Spain didn't seem to contribute all that much. Also, I have a few allies myself. We have a number of puppet states who have a small number of divisions themselves. And also, just to get into this right now before I forget, the reason the date's a little different is that I did a lot of my military build-up off-camera. I spent like 3 years or something in that range, I think, recruiting soldiers and throwing them on the front lines. And I decided not to record that because it was just going to be me waiting for people to be ready to deploy and then deploying them. So now we have rather a lot of divisions. And I have many, many more coming in, including some airplanes, which I'm not sure how effective they'll be, but maybe shoot down a few German bombers. In addition, we have and let's not do that, we have a stupid number of tanks coming in. Of course, a lot of my divisions still need to be upgraded. Because, if you look over here, we are still using 1942 divisions in a lot of cases. And our max technology has us up to 1945 divisions. So my plan for the war with Germany, because we are going to declare war on Germany basically this session. I think we've waited long enough, and if we wait any longer, it's not going to make a difference. Germany's getting stronger just as we were, and I think it's gone on long enough to the point where if we delay any more, then we're basically screwing ourselves. So what I plan to do is, Finland's going to be fairly easy. I have lots of troops on their borders and we massively outnumber them. So we're probably going to be able to quite easily just bulldoze over Finland and annex them. I'll leave a couple of divisions in the region after we've mopped up the Finns. And they can be on anti-partisan duty and keep the locals in line. Down here in the Balkans, I have a number of divisions lined up along the Austro-Hungarian border. And we're going to quickly knock out the Austrian territories here, and then move on to Hungary. And we'll attack them from basically every direction. I'm hoping to plow through Hungary fairly quickly and hit Austria itself, which will allow us to open up another front against the Germans by attacking them from the south. So we'll get rid of Bohemia. And while we're doing this, I'm going to be attacking Germany all along this front line. Every province. We have about 20 divisions, basically everywhere along the German front line. And I'm hoping to quickly occupy the United Baltic Duchy, which Germany has annexed several years ago via an event. And I'm also hoping to conquer Lithuania. And that will get us back all of the sovereign Russian territory. And from there, we're just basically going to take advantage of Russia's superior manpower, as well as the industrial capacity we'll gain from occupying those territories, to hammer Germany and her allies into submission. And it's my hope, and I don't know how realistic it is, that we're going to be able to drive Germany back and basically force them to surrender. At least in as much as you can, because we'll still have to deal with the thing Germany got with France, where since we can't occupy all their stuff, we can't make them surrender or anything. Because Germany still has hold of Madagascar, which the Entente has not managed to conquer off of them yet. They also have some islands and a few bits and pieces over here in Southeast Asia. But fortunately for me, we have two allies. We have three allies in the form of Siam, Japan, and Japan's puppet, the Qing Empire, who should be able to go after Germany's islands out here and keep them off balance. And if they join in, the AOG, Germany's puppet state in China, should be kept fairly busy by the rather substantial Japanese army and navy that we have going on in the region. So our allies in the Far East will keep them busy there. Madagascar is going to be a bit of an issue that I'm not sure how we're going to address, since the Entente doesn't seem too keen on doing it themselves. But we're going to be fighting all along the front line in mainland Europe, and I'm basically going to be continuously producing troops. In fact, I'm going to add a few more to my list. They can go to the top of it. And I will do this. I'm just going to add some more lines to Russia's already substantial military production machine. It's not going to finish anytime soon, I'll give you that. But we're basically going to be pouring out troops in an endless stream. And I'm going to be taking advantage of our pretty much godlike manpower as Russia to be endlessly producing troops, and including both infantry and tanks. Now, I'll just resume and let it get everything back on track. Yep. Just going to be continuously pouring out soldiers, because that's going to be probably what wins the war as Russia. In addition to our industrial capacity, and the fact that we own all of our former territories, excluding the United Baltic Duchy and Ukraine, our superior manpower and the fact that we're going to be endlessly throwing troops at Germany is going to be what's going to win this. Finland's not going to stay in this war for long, and I don't imagine the Austro-Hungarian Empire will either. It all depends on how many reserves Germany has access to throw at us. Because from our military intelligence, we estimate that they have around 252 infantry divisions. Last I checked, Russia had upwards of 300. Of course, this isn't taking into account Germany's allies, or my allies, but I still think we can win this. But even if we lose it, I think it'll be an epic and very interesting end to this campaign. And we've spent enough time preparing that any more would probably be wasted. So I am going to declare war. We'll go to the German Empire. And we have an option to demand territory, but there's only a 3% chance of success. It's not worth it. And this will bring in Lithuania, Finland, Denmark, Austria, Hungary, Bohemia, the Kingdom of Spain, the Netherlands, Indonesia, Flanders, and Wallonia. Of course, Indonesia is a problem for the Japanese and our Asian allies to deal with. And pretty much the rest of those are a bunch of nobodies that are basically German puppet states in all but name, with the exception of Flanders and Wallonia, who are actually German puppet states. So now we declare war on the German Empire. And this is it. We are officially at war with Germany. And I am just not going to waste any time on the Finnish front. And these soldiers can attack along all fronts. No, I did not want you people attacking there. And we will basically tell them to hit everywhere along the Finnish front. And right now, for our armies here, priority 1 is going to be the occupation of the German-controlled United Baltic Duchy. This army here, also, we're going to send after them. And try to move down into there. You attack there. You there. And then I'm going to command our troops to attack along every front. This is not going to be a quick war, I don't believe. Not in any way, shape, or form. And the odds are high that we're going to get an uprising in Poland in the middle of this, because the Polish have not been integrated into Russia yet. They're still resisting us. But I'm having to pull all my troops out of there to concentrate on the war on this front. But it's worth it, I think. It is really worth it. We'll hit them everywhere we can. And take advantage of the fact that a lot of these, unlike me, have not grouped up their soldiers in the way that would probably be best. And thus they are getting hit by the super stack penalty, if I'm remembering the mechanics correctly. In that their stacks of troops are large but inefficient. I'm going to take as much advantage of that as I can. And keep hitting them along all fronts. Because this is really my best option for winning a war this magnitude as Russia. To essentially beat them to death with a sledgehammer. And you can attack there, you can attack there. And let's check. Is anyone along here not attacking? We appear to have everyone attacking. But as I said, this is going to be somewhat of a complicated affair, because I'll have a lot of things to keep my eyes on. And everyone has reached the front lines. And I mean everyone. Now we're going to go with a little bit of war propaganda to reduce our national dissent. A little bit. As well as press censorship. Give us less dissent now. It's going to be the refrain of the day. Less dissent, less fucking dissent. Also, I make no promises that I will include the entirety of this. I'll probably decide to edit out a good chunk of basically everything. Because we're winning a lot of the early battles. But Germany is a powerful global empire at this point, even if they have lost a lot of ground to the Entente. So I don't expect that our early gains will remain as they are. And Bromberg. Where is Bromberg? I don't... Yeah, that's right here. The only information I have is that 18 Russian divisions are attacking 21 German ones. Please take me there. don't see them. This is annoying. Okay. Oh, it's you. Pull back for now. That's a large German stack, and numerical equivalency is not going to turn out well on the battlefield for us. Not at the moment. Not anytime soon. Oh, hell. That's a province lost to the fucking Germans. Not one more because reasons. Great patriotic war against the German Empire. The history has repeated itself. We are once again at war with Germany. Now we must show them that Slavs are united in their struggle against the unhumanitarian regime colonizing Eastern Europe. Citizens in the big cities attack everything which has a German origin or is connected to Mittel Europa. Its officials already have started massive propaganda action directed towards youngsters to induce them to enlist in the army or go to the factories. Musicians, poets, painters, and other artists from all political factions have loudly announced their support for the regime. Except for those nutjob Bolsheviks. Orthodox clergy, and other major religion and eminences are saying prayers for the troops on the front and the government. Now when the government has brought everything under its control, we can be safe about our future. We'll march under the Brandenburg Gate. And that was incredibly difficult to try and translate. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. I don't blame them. The people who made this mod, English is not their first language. So I don't expect everything to be great on that front. What's going on? Montenegro is pulling away from Austria. They won't give us military access. That's annoying. We're going to keep it up and try to curb stomp Germany as effectively as possible. We can deploy more divisions when we need them. Defeat somewhere. We're destroying a lot of German forces. And it's basically a stalemate at this point. We're not making a whole lot of progress on many fronts. Really aren't. But I need to get that place back under control. (1947) Airborne Division developed, and Carrier Air Group. Air Doctrines. A little bit of that. Tactical bombers, I guess. As I said, victory and defeat in equal measure at the moment. We're basically still in the early stages, which amount to little more than a stalemate. There's not been... And the AOG joins our side. Yeah, there've not been any substantial victories or defeats for either side, so we're still on the stalemate phase right now, where both sides are trying to break through. I'm having more success against the Austrians than I am against the Germans. Primarily because the German army is a lot scarier than the Austrian one. And Germany is basically right now busy offering me a new asshole. And I'm busy declining. Is what's going on. And that's happening everywhere. We may be winning a lot of battles, but like I said, I don't expect to win every battle, or for this to last forever. How about you keep it up? Push all the way to the sea if you can. And cut through Germany's lines over here. I'd like to secure the Baltics if possible. Or at the very least, all Austro-Hungarian territories. We'll see how this goes. Like I said, some early victories at the moment, but it's still fairly inconclusive, despite the titanic number of enemy armies we've destroyed so far. we've basically at this point taken over the eastern half of Hungary. For defense. These idiots. I need them on the front line with Hungary. ASAP. But we're pushing against the Hungarians right now. It's almost a shame about Montenegro. I would have liked to get that territory, at least be able to draw them into my alliance. But I'm not all that upset about it, as you might be able to tell. I'm not about to complain that Montenegro declared independence from Austria, even if it did make my tactical maneuvering a little more difficult. Just get me an AA brigade. I'm not really bothered about research at this moment in time. Germany is attaining some minor successes on the front. You attack over there. That's quite a few armies. These in the region. And you guys can do this. Try and occupy the region. That away. But yeah, this war is going slowly, is the best way to put it, really. Going to try to push back a little over here. But first, I'm making you a field marshal. Get rid of that penalty. Still victory and defeat in equal measure. As one would expect, right? These 20 divisions, they're more needed on the German front. Get over there. Additional divisions I can call up if need be. And we have destroyed a ton of Finnish divisions. Now, how many victory points have they got left? Just a handful in this region, which we are bulldozing our way towards now. More victories and feats. Yeah, this really is a war in the way you think about it, that you're never going to get exactly what you're after. And the Germans have decided to make a Polish puppet in some of the regions. It's out here. I am not happy with this, Germany. You will feel my wrath soon. You will feel my wrath soon.